Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the ordinary council meeting of the 28th of August. It is 5:30. Welcome to those members of the public and those doing deputations this evening. It's great to see you here. Before we get underway, I just need to read a declaration for the live streaming, and it goes like this. The Shire of Murray Ordinary Council meeting is being live streamed and recorded on the Shire's website in accordance with the Local Government Act 1995. Members of the public attending this meeting consent to the possibility that their image and voice may be captured on the recording and live streaming. Statements or decisions made at this meeting should not be relied or acted on by an applicant or any other person until they have received written notification from the Shire of Murray. So hopefully everyone in the gallery is happy with that declaration. So we'll move on to attendance and apologies. We have everyone present in the room except for Councillor Black, and Councillor Black is on the phone. Can you hear us, Councillor Black? Councillor Black?
Yes, Doug.
You can hear us okay?
I can hear you perfectly.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And our executive lead team staff are all in attendance as well. Therefore, I have no apologies. I have no leaves of absence. We do not have any responses to previous public questions taken on notice, which brings us into item 4, which is public question time. Do I have any questions from the floor? I've not been notified in writing of any, but if anybody does have a question, you are okay to bring it up now. No, I'll take that as no, thank you. Which brings us into item 5, petitions and approved deputations. Now we have had a few or two requests for late with short notice for late deputations, and we can accept those if it is approved by council. So we have got a recommendation here, councillors, to accept the 2 late deputations from Mr Steve Green, representing the Peel Environmental Protection Alliance, and Ms Sarah Livingston, both in relation to item 11.1, submission on Alcoa environmental review documents, public environmental review assessments, 2253 Pinjarra Alumina Refinery revised proposal, and 2385 Bauxite Mining Operations 2023 to 2027. Do I have a mover for that recommendation? Councillor Rogers and Councillor Kirkham. All those in favour? Councillor Black, are you in favour of that?
Yes.
Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. So, Mr Green and Ms Livingston, you'll be able to present your deputations when I call for you. So we will go through our deputations in this order. Mr Carl Bullers, who is going to be talking on item 13.1, sponsorship request for the Peel Producers Long Table Dinner 2026 and 2027. Mr Bullers, you are able to come and address the council. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm here on the hunt for money. I'm hoping you're going to support the long table dinner. We're planning to do it for another couple of years. The first event held in March this year was pretty successful, I think. There are some images which some of you were there, so you would have seen it. There's one image, it's a really good image. Oh, there we go. So I'll just keep clicking while I talk. So a few highlights. I'm sure you've all read the report, but a few highlights. We had 200 people in the town square having a 3-course dinner and entertainment. 53 companies and organisations donated time, money and effort into making it work. Almost 20% of the attendees were from outside of the Peel region, including 4 people from Mollaloo, so they must be very bored up north. I think it showcased Pinjarra in a very positive light. It demonstrated that the region has great food production capacity, and it also shows that Pinjarra can pull off unique and exciting events. I think most importantly, we raised $25,500 for Ovis, which was exclusively to be used on the Pinjarra Women's Centre. And of course, we all had a great time doing it. So I'm hoping that you all see the value of the event. We're keen to keep growing it and hopefully make it bigger. Got lots of other ideas. But of course, we can't do that without community support. So that's it. Happy to take any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Mr Bullers. Councillor, is there any questions of Mr Bullers for his deputation? Mr CEO would like to ask a question.
Mr. Bullers, good to see you again. Did you say how much was raised last year? 25,000?
And a half.
And you're aiming of what numbers are you looking for this year?
Well, we'd like to beat it. So I think last year was the first time we'd done it, so it was a new concept. Now we've got pretty photographs, so hopefully people will be able to see what it's all about, and hopefully we can grow the attendance. Certainly, I'd like to be hitting 300 people, but I don't want to overpromise.
That's what they call in politics a Dorothy Dixer. So,
Great, thank you, Mr Bullers. I think that's the extent of the questions. Thank you. And before we move on with the deputations, I would just like to acknowledge the member for Murray Wellington, David Bolt, MLA, in the room. Thank you for coming. Our second deputation is from Mr Mitchell Sheether, Ian Lee, Jeff Hamister and Tony Preston from the Pinjarra Golf Club in relation to item 13.3, Pinjarra Golf Club Priority Project Funding Submission. So whoever's speaking, you're welcome to come up. Thank you.
Mr. President, I'd first off like to say I'd like to put in a huge thank you for Sarah Farrance for putting our agenda item together on such short notice. We've been working very hard from our end to make sure that we get this documentation together so that we could attend potentially this meeting. We had some advice that it might not happen until the change of council, so we're very pleased to be here, and we really appreciate the support that the Shire of Murray offer Pinjarra Golf Club. In terms of the agenda item itself, we've obviously put together our number of priorities listed 1 through 4, which as a club we've highlighted are essential to ensure that we can continue operating as we currently are and continue to grow our services within the Peel and Greater region. So in terms of our deputation, it was mainly a statement from the golf club to again highlight the great opportunity that we have here to meet in front of the councillors at your ordinary meeting for August, and I suppose open the floor a little bit to the councillors. I know there's been a number of presentations by the Pinjarra Golf Club to council, and I suppose this is an opportunity for councillors to ask any updated questions on the agenda items and the priorities that we have listed in our submission document.
No problem. Thank you. Councillors or staff, in fact, are there any questions of Mr Sheether before we go on? No, I think the report was recommendation, and the report was fairly thorough.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. And councillors, just to inform you ahead of the next 3 deputations, that we do have Shire consultants online for item 11.1. Should you have any questions, these can be asked at the end. We have got a section right at the end of the deputations where we can ask any direct questions. So if everyone's happy with that, that'd be good. We maybe should just check that the consultants can hear us. I'm not quite sure the names of the people, but they've got us. Yep, great. Okay, so our third deputation is from Ms Anne Chung, Ms Jenny Wise and Mr Chris Portlock from the Dwelling Up Discovery Forest Defenders. It's in relation to item 11.1, submission on Alcoa environmental review documents, public environmental review assessments to 2253 Pinjarra Alumina Refinery revised proposal and 2385 bauxite mining operations 2023 to 2027. You're welcome to come and address the council now, please.
Forgive me, I'm going to have to read a lot of this.
That's fine, totally fine.
My name's Jenny Wise and I'm from the Dwelling Up Discovery Forest Defenders Group, and we're relatively newly incorporated group, but actually Dwelling Up has had several iterations of community groups over many decades endeavouring to protect areas within the state forest within the greater Dwelling Up area. So we're really just the newest group of many community groups that have been formed over the decades in Dwelling Up. But times are different from when the first inception of Alcoa, when it came to WA in 1961, and things are very different. It's different times in 2025 now. So now for the first time, Alcoa will be subject to a review of its environmental policies and activities by the Environmental Protection Authority. This has never happened before, so this is why it's so momentous. Many recreation conservation groups have united to preserve the internationally renowned nature-based recreation values of the whole Darling Range, and we are a member of that alliance. The impact of bauxite mining on our communities, both in the past and in the future, are cumulative. Cumulative impact of the past degradation and future deforestation and water security. And this is an important principle of the EPA, is cumulative impact. Expansion plans will definitely impact the very popular Bibbulun Mundabiddi trails. Importantly, opportunity for new or expanded trails will be curtailed because of the possibility of these new mines. So nature-based recreation has long been really the soul of Dwelling Up. For generations, people have walked, cycled, hiked, tested their outdoor skills at camps, and families experiencing the awe and wonder of the trees and the plants and the jarrah forest and the flowers, the animals and birds, and especially our iconic red-tailed cockatoos. So for visitors and locals alike, we are very worried about losing the beautiful unmined forest. So we also see diminishing numbers of cockatoos flying home to roost each evening over the valleys. The loss of, we used to have a local quokka colony, chuditch sightings, and the drying up of our springs into our dams and diminishing underground water. So one of the most gut-wrenching signs is seeing the logging trucks roll through town, sometimes with very large logs, hundreds of years in size. And that really is upsetting. It's likely that many people will never see the animals of the jarrah forest, as their feeding and breeding habits may never fully recover. So if the mine expansions go ahead, the forest, especially in the Myara North and Hollyoak, which of course is actually Inglehope, they will no longer exist in its current unmined state and will likely never return to a mature jarrah forest. We need the forest for all these reasons. So walks will lose their attraction and the healing powers as the forest becomes more and more fragmented. The success of considerable investment by federal, state and local government for the development of Dwelling Up as a Trails Town Centre is really, really central. It's been a catalyst for all types of nature-based activities. Tourism in nature-based activities is absolutely booming worldwide. All the research is telling us that this is what people want, and international visitors want to see our unique wildlife. So this means not just a potential expansion of the economy around local, national and international tourism. The very positive physical and mental health benefits of being in nature are now well researched. We need more rather than fewer opportunities to meet the recreational needs of Perth's growing population and support for nature-based tourism around Dwelling Up and Jarrahdale. And I would especially like to thank the Shire of Murray and all the staff and contributors to the public review of Alcoa's proposal for 3 new mines and a production increase at the Pinjarra refinery. The hard work, time and meticulous effort put into this outstanding submission. Everyone who's read it, this is an outstanding submission. And it's something that as ratepayers, we should all be very grateful that we are led by this council and this amazing group of people who have worked on this. It really is fantastic. And we appreciate it. But just today we learned that more than 59,000 people who took the trouble to make a submission to the EPA, also believe that enough is enough. We need to value our forests for the future of our children and subsequent generations. One of the EPA principles of assessment is intergenerational equity. As ratepayers, we should support the Shire's submission. The EPA assessment is only the first in a process that we need to convince government that enough is enough, or future generations will look upon us with great shame. So I'll hand over to Anne, who's going to talk about the issues around water security.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, councillors. So Alcoa mines in our water catchment areas. These are priority 1 surface water, drinking surface water areas, and they are, because they supply our drinking water, they receive they're supposed to receive the highest level of protection. And in normal case, it would be just forestry, so just forest, because that's the best way to preserve water. But because Alcoa is allowed to mine in there, there are risks which are introduced merely by the mining process. So I'll just walk you through that. So mining involves heavy machinery, heavy earth-moving equipment. And with these comes the risk of spills and leaks for hydrocarbon fluids or petroleum-based hydrocarbons. And we're talking diesel, engine oil and hydraulic fluids, along with coolant. And these details have become available through Alcoa's documentation in the public environmental review process. They can be accessed online through the EPA. Most of these spills are due to mechanical failure, and the volume involved is on average about 14,000 litres a year. The water and surface quality data, which is provided by Alcoa in its submissions, show that their groundwater monitoring processes are detecting hydrocarbons in the groundwater. That means there is soil contamination, and these have been detected all over the mine site, and in some areas the levels are such that you can smell and see the pollution. When we think of that as being in a catchment area, the inevitable trajectory of that is for that to flow into the dams at some point in time, whether it breaks down or not. Those chemicals are very complex, and we do not actually know what happens to them. The other matter is also firefighting. So Alcoa has been using firefighting equipment in its vehicles, and that's in the period between 2014 and 2021. Their firefighting foams contained PFAS. PFAS is a forever chemical, so it does not break down. It accumulates in the environment, and some of them have been declared to be toxic. The deployment or the release of these firefighting chemicals have been through vehicle fires, mainly through equipment malfunction, the maintenance and testing of fire equipment at the workshops, which are in catchment areas, and through, I understand from the documentation, firefighting training. The water quality data presented by Alcoa shows that PFAS is now found in surface and groundwater samples on the Huntley and Willowdale mine sites. And these also drain into our catchment areas, into our dams. And the water quality results show that some of these PFAS chemicals have been detected in the dams. The other matter I'd like to bring to your attention is the refinery. The refinery at Pinjarra. The Pinjarra refinery has reported seepage from bauxite residue storage, and that occurred that was first reported in 2007. The Wagerup and Kwinana refineries are both listed as contaminated sites under the Contaminated Sites Act. And just to put some context in there, the Wagerup refinery is noted to have plumes of alkalinity, increased total dissolved solids and basically toxic fluids, and it's been listed as not suitable for drinking, livestock use or irrigation.
Excuse me, Ms Chung.
Yes.
That's come up 10 minutes. Do you require a further 10 minutes?
About 3 minutes and I can finish.
And Mr Portlock is going to speak as well? No, I don't need to speak. Okay, so councillors happy for Ms Chung to finish her deputation? Great, thank you.
Okay. So basically, given that the contamination is due to seepage from the bauxite residue storage areas, the issues at Pinjarra would be very similar to what is at Wagerup. And the issue is that because Alcoa operates under the State Agreements Act, there is no obligation for it to contribute to the Mining Rehabilitation Fund. So that means that there is nothing, the state government does not hold any funds in reserve in order to mitigate this or to remediate these sites. To give you some context on the extent of these things, or the contamination, Rio Tinto at the moment, they mine up in the Gove Peninsula in the Northern Territory and they mine bauxite. They are running out of bauxite and they are in the process of dismantling their bauxite refinery. This is expected to cost over $1 billion and take over 10 years. So given that Alcoa's got 3 refineries, let's just make an estimate of $3 billion to disassemble that. If they were going to start now, they would need $100 million a year for 30 years. So that's just something that we would like to bring to your attention, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Ms Chung. Councillors, are there any questions of either Ms Wise or Ms Chung before they take their seat? Well, if we can save questions for the consultants till the end, that'd be great. I'm happy to say. For the consultants? Okay, great. Thank you very much. Our 4th deputation is from Mr Steve Green from Peel Environmental Protection Alliance, and it is also in relation to item 11.1.
Very quick one. Hello, all the councillors and present out there. I'm just here to represent Pepper. Pepper's a Peel Environmental Protection Alliance. We were formed back in 22, mainly on a basis that a lot of us were getting sick of the dust and the pollution, and Alcoa came to my house in South Yunderup, took the dust samples away. They sent in a testing company. When they came back, we had A3 sheets of paper, 33 identifiable chemicals and compounds in that dust. 11 of them we've registered as carcinogenic, 3 of them radioactive. It is serious, people. It is serious. We've got to stop this pollution coming on us all the time. Certain businesses around here have had the roofs of their buildings replaced from caustic soda. It's just going on. But anyway, as I say, we started out with pollution, air and water. That was it. Now we're starting to look at the walls of the residue dump area. Alcoa's own testing their walls aren't satisfactory for their own standards. And we need to look at that as another big event. The testing case is going to be Kwinana. Who's going to clean it up? Right now, Alcoa has a history of putting things into care and maintenance. The biggest claim in the United States of America is the United States of America and the state of Texas took Alcoa to court for pollution and refinery discharge at a place called Point Comfort. It's still the biggest claim. You can't swim, you can't eat the fish. The mercury and arsenic just ooze out into the waterway, which is a deep water port, very much like Kwinana area. But it's, as I say, we're just here, we've got to help, but the big thing I'm here for is I want to thank the Shire, especially all the staff that have done obviously hours and hours and hours of research to get what you guys have presented. The fact that you took outside help stands a lot for you, because everyone's got a thought that, no one's looking, but you've gone and taken outside help from an outside company that's advised you. What I've managed to read so far, very impressed with your work, and It's to thank councillors, Shire presidents, CEOs, and I'm sure down to the girl that typed it all up. We all need a good pat on the back for it. So that's about it for me. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mr Green. Councillors or staff, any questions of Mr Green before he sits down? Okay, and we come up for our fifth deputation now. Ms Sarah Livingston from Dwelling Up, also in relation to item 11.1. Thank you.
Hello, yes, I've lived in Dwelling Up for about 24 years and I'm passionate about the town and its future and also passionate about the forest and the fauna and flora. So I just want to say a little bit more adding to the submissions. As a result of bauxite mining, the environment has been degraded badly and impacted visually. Following the devastating fire that impacted Yarloop in 2016 and killed 2 people, the Ferguson report stated that, and I quote, "The fire was burning interstate forest where Alcoa bauxite mining operations hampered access and suppression." Reference is from Chapter 4, number 11.4. Access to and within the mining lease area is slow and difficult. The terrain is very rough, even for heavy earth-moving machinery, with contoured rip lines along with the mine pits and haul roads. Conveyors and power easements also slow down firefighting response capabilities. Water is one of our most valuable commodities, and without it all life will die. We use our water with great consideration and respect, yet Alcoa uses approximately 45 to 50 billion litres of water a year on mine sites and their refinery. And just to put this into perspective, that's just under 20% of what Perth uses, the entire city of Perth uses a year. Approving this proposal will have a much greater and more devastating impact on both groundwater and stream flow, on which we all rely. Roger Cook said that the protection of the state's drinking water is the government's highest priority. Yet documents have revealed that the West Australian Water Corporation have voiced their very real and serious concerns over Alcoa's bauxite operations potentially contaminating Serpentine Dam drinking water. The Water Corporation Chief Executive, Pat Donovan, stated that over 100,000 people could be affected within hours of a contamination and could cost $2.6 billion to clean up. In 2023, Alcoa secretly laid a pipeline, and that's a quote, secretly laid a pipeline along the side of the road over the Waroona Dam drinking water. This contained the forever toxic chemical PFAS. If there had been a leak or a vehicle had damaged the pipeline while crossing the bridge, it would have resulted in a catastrophic contamination of the drinking water. In a climate when global discussion is centred around the importance of reducing greenhouse gas emissions, it is vitally important to take into serious consideration that the Alcoa proposed expansion to its mining operations near Perth would result in an overall increase of approximately 1.3 billion tonnes of global greenhouse gas emissions over the next 2 decades. This equates to about 3 times the Australian annual gas house emission and is equivalent to approximately 18 coal-fired power stations. It makes a mockery of the government's goal of reaching a net zero by 2050. This comes from an ABC report print on ABC Radio Perth on the 14th of the 8th, 14th of this month. I spoke to the reporter today, and he's given me his details of how it came to this information. Finally, the holistic impact of this proposal is profound and, in my opinion, has not been considered by Alcoa. The environmental effects will be far-reaching. The proposal that will have a combined effect on many levels: quality and quantity of water resources, effects of ongoing forest clearing, inadequate rehabilitation, greenhouse gas emissions, and climate change impacts. These will all cause many issues, including long-term forest degradation, species loss, and human mental health issues due to socio-economic impact. So basically, I think, as we all feel, 29,000 submissions, I think it's fairly profound, and thank you for your full support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillors, any questions of Ms Livingston? No. Okay, so we'll move on now. Have any councillors or staff got any questions as a result of those deputations for our consultants which are online? Councillor Carter, you're right? Okay. That's great. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for your taking the time to come and address council. It's not always easy, but we certainly appreciate you making the effort and coming in. So with that, we will move on to item 6, confirmation of the minutes, and we have 6.1, ordinary council meeting, 24th of July 2025. Do I have a mover and a seconder for that item, please? Councillor Pike to move, Councillor Carter to second. Any comments or questions? Anyone like to vote against? If not, we'll put it to the vote then. All those in favour? Councillor Black?
Yes.
In favour?
In favour.
Thank you. That's passed unanimously. Item 7, announcements by the presiding member, will be part of the minutes, and item 8, announcements by elected members, will also form part of the minutes. Item 9, acknowledgement of receipt of disclosure of interests by me. We have 3. We have Councillor Willis, and that is in relation to item 11.4, and that's a proximity interest. So Councillor Willis owns property adjacent to the proposed battery storage system, so she will be leaving the room for that item. And the other 2 are in relation to 11.1 from Councillor Kirkham and myself, in that we are both current employees of Alcoa. So during that time, I'll ask Deputy President Rogers to preside over the meeting while I vacate the chair. Item 10 is reception of minutes and recommendations of committees held since the previous meeting of council. 10.1 is the Local Emergency Management Committee meeting minutes, 6th of August 2025. Do I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Kirkham to move and Councillor Rogers to second. Any comments or questions, councillors? Councillor Black, if you've got a comment or a question, please sing out. I will listen.
No, I've got nothing.
Thank you. We'll put that to the vote then. All those in favour?
In favour.
Thank you. That's passed unanimously. And this brings us into item 11, planning and sustainability, and item 11.1, submission on Alcoa environmental review documents, public environmental review, assessments 2253 Pinjarra Alumina Refinery revised proposal, and 2385 bauxite mining operations 2023-2027, and I am going to leave the room.
Okay, item 11.1, as just stated by President McClarty, but I will repeat it. Submission on Alcoa environmental review documents, public environmental review assessments 2253 Pinjarra Aluminium Refinery revised proposal, and 2385 bauxite mining operations 2023 to 2027. Do I have a mover for this recommendation? Councillor Willis.
Thank you, Deputy President.
Hang on, sorry, Councillor Willis, I do need a seconder for that as well. Councillor Lee.
Thank you again, Deputy President. I would like to move the officer's recommendation with the 2 amendments that I have requested that was circulated today.
Yes, so just for the people in the gallery and also for the people watching online, there were 2 amendments that were circulated this afternoon, and they are as follows. Amendment, well, it's essentially an additional part of the recommendation, being number 1.4.1. That in considering any approval, the EPA should establish effective dust suppression systems for the residue storage areas. This demonstration should include pollution monitoring with live data made available to the community, Shire of Murray and all relevant government agencies. The other addition is number 1.10, and that is as follows. Post-closure mining rehabilitation fund, as part of a plan to mitigate the expansion of Alcoa Pinjarra, that an amount of 1% of all gross revenue to be put aside into a Pinjarra Refinery Mining Rehabilitation Fund, as per the Mining Rehabilitation Fund Act of 2012, being the amount consistent with the Marsden, Jacob and Associates Mining Rehabilitation Fund post-implementation review, prepared for the Department of Mines, Industry, Regulation and Safety in July 2018. There was one additional amendment, and it's more of a clerical error. Item number 1.22.9 is also duplicated directly after in item 1.2210. So the recommendation is to take out the item 1.2210. So they are the three changes. So, yes.
If I could, just as part of that motion, in item 1.10, where it says that an amount of 1% of all gross revenue, I think it may be proper to put in from Alcoa Pinjarra, because it relates specifically to Alcoa Pinjarra Refinery and post-closure. So just when we put it into the EPA, we want to make sure that it's very crystal clear and there's no ambiguity, because once there's ambiguity, it gets more difficult. So if you see 1% of all gross revenue from Alcoa Pinjarra, it makes it crystal clear where it's coming from.
Councillor Willis, are you happy with that change?
Absolutely, thank you.
Councillor Lee, are you happy as a seconder with those changes? Councillor Carter?
Just with the wording of that, post-closure mining rehabilitation fund, should the wording be as part of a plan to mitigate the impact of the expansion of Alcoa Pinjarra? Should we be adding those words, plan to mitigate the impact of, at that point? Because...
that is what that fund would be for.
Yep, so a part of a plan to mitigate the expansion, as opposed to mitigate the impact of the expansion. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
It's just
That's great clarification. Thank you, Councillor Carter. I would love that to be included.
Okay, so as it reads now, everyone is happy with those slight amendments. That's what we're going to be voting on. Is anyone likely to be against this motion? No, sorry, no. Councillor Willis, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you. Firstly, I would like to sincerely thank the officers and consultants for their hard work, their due diligence in reviewing that massive stack of paperwork that Alcoa submitted for their environmental documents, and also thank everybody here tonight and all of the community groups who over the years just totally, fully advocate for protection of the Jarrah Forest and the Darling Scarp. The work everybody's done is thorough, thoughtful and incredibly important, and the substantive list of key recommendations that's come from this process reflects the seriousness of this issue and ongoing issue. My hope, and I believe the hope of this community, is that these recommendations are taken seriously by the EPA and by both the state and the federal government. This is the first time in more than 60 years that the public and local councils have had a real opportunity, or any opportunity, to have a say in Alcoa's operations. That alone is significant, and the recommendations already put forward go a huge way to hopefully protecting our waterways, our Jarrah forests and our unique flora and fauna. Dwelling Up defenders spoke to the cumulative effects of damage to our beautiful Jarrah forests, and I think that is really important to note considering we're in a time of great climate change. But tonight I'm seeking council support to add 2 further recommendations. The first relates to dust mitigation. We know the current tools and strategies are simply not working. Many residents are deeply concerned and have been for many years about their health effects of the dust. After an easterly wind, cars and outdoor furniture are coated in it. Families go to bed hoping they remember to shut every window. This is not reasonable and it is not sustainable. Until Alcoa can demonstrate that dust suppression is truly effective, hopefully proven by live, transparent air quality data available to the community and all relevant agencies, I believe no increase in production and no further mining into new areas should be approved. Expanding dust stacks while current systems are failing would only worsen the problem. The second recommendation is about accountability and rehabilitation. If the state government grants any further expansion of mining areas or refinery production at Alcoa, Pinjarra, a post-closure rehabilitation fund must be established. There is precedent for such funds elsewhere, and a contribution of 1% of gross revenue annually could provide security and community needs to be met. Let us remember Alcoa's mining lease comes up for renewal in 2041. Public sentiment is changing and people are asking very clearly who will pay to rehabilitate this refinery, the dust stacks, the waterways, and what little forest will remain when Alcoa eventually leaves, walks away, there's no more money to be made. In 2024, Alcoa's global turnover was $11.9 billion. Their CEO was paid $13 million. For a company of this scale, 1% of gross revenue placed in trust for rehabilitation is not only fair, it's essential. It is a safeguard for our fragile Darling Scarp and for the way of life of our residents. And without it, we risk being left with the long-term costs and consequences. Sadly, in our current world, a higher value is placed on money rather than our environment. This is slowly changing as, hopefully, the 59,000 submissions demonstrate. But just then, listening to Ms Wong discuss the cost of post-rehabilitation, I'm even doubtful that 1% will be enough. But let's start with that and advocate strongly. Councillors, I strongly urge you to support these additional recommendations. And thank you for taking the time to listen to me.
Thank you, Councillor Willis. Councillor Lee, did you have any comments?
Thank you, Deputy President. No, I totally concur with Councillor Willis. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of faith in our state government, and when they're receiving something in excess of $200 million a year, unfortunately, I hope they're not going to just see the effect, grab money. I think it speaks volumes that the CEO of Alcoa is flying over from the United States to meet with the state government. They're obviously very concerned, and I just hope that not only our submission but everybody else's gets up and the government does take some notice. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lee. As no one's raised their hand to speak against it, does anyone else have any comments they would like to make? Councillor Pike?
Yes, I'd just like to make a comment that although it is a very thorough report and very well written, and I support it 100%, I just feel that, like Councillor Lee, we're not quite going far enough. I don't trust Alcoa and I don't trust the government at all. And I believe that trying to mitigate a little bit more money and getting some safeguards in place is not stopping the mining. And at the end of 2045, when 84% of all Jarrah forest is gone and we've got nothing left and you're looking at 200 years to get anything back, I think that we're just going to be left with nothing, and Alcoa will never pay for it and they will never fix it. And so although we've gone very far in our recommendations, I really feel that we should be paving a way to get mining out rather than to allow them to extend.
Thank you, Councillor Pike. Does anyone else have any other comments? Before I hand it back over to Councillor Willis for her closing statement, I would also just like to acknowledge and commend the mammoth effort that went into preparing this submission of this size from our CEO, our staff, the consultants, councillors, and our wider community for all of their input. It's been invaluable. So I don't think it is an understatement to say that this is the most significant submission that has ever been presented to council, at least in the 10 years that I've been here. It's the most significant submission. And I do believe it offers a balanced, evidence-based position that advocates not only for the Pinjarra community, but for the wider community of the Murray Shire for now and well into the future. So well done. Councillor Willis.
Thank you, Deputy Shire President. I also agree with everything that has been spoken from other councillors today. And I do believe the words Councillor Deputy Shire President just used, balanced, evidence-based approach, is what the intention of my amendments are. I would like to put forward words of advocacy that I feel the EPA may listen to, simply stating that I don't want Alcoa there. I would like them to leave. I don't feel words that the EPA would listen to. So whilst I do totally agree with what Councillor Pike is saying, I've chosen a more evidence-based approach. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, with that being said, I will put the item to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. Oh, Councillor Black online, what is your vote? Councillor Black?
In favour.
Thank you very much. All right, that is now being carried unanimously. Thank you.
If I can, Madam Deputy Chair, we need a reason for the minutes to amend the officer's recommendation. So I have prepared one earlier, if you'd like to accept this. Reason being to provide further feedback to the EPA to address the community's concerns of A, dust management, and B, to address the need for a funded plan for a post-closure. Okay with that?
Sounds good. Thank you. Get out of your hair.
Good job.
At this point in time, I'll have to leave you to the meeting and I'll be off the air.
Thanks, Councillor Black. Good luck with the knee.
It's very painful at the moment.
Councillor Black had
Thank
a knee not reconstruction, a replacement yesterday. So,
Okay. Okay, councillors, we now move on to item 11.2, draft Shire of Murray local planning strategy. We have the officer's recommendation there. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lee. And do I have a second to Councillor Willis? Thank you. Is there anyone likely to be opposed to this? There is an amendment, so are you moving it with the amendment or without the amendment?
I'd like to move with the amendment,
Right.
the amendment that was sent through to us.
That's what I was hoping we are going to get to.
Where are we? Basically, it takes in further area north of North Dandler, moving up towards where the school is incorporated, and that makes a total lot of sense. That any expansion of North Dandler town site should move towards the current school site and take that within it. So I support that change recommendation.
So just for the purposes of those that are online and may not be able to see this, the point 1 of the resolution now reads, endorses the draft Shire of Murray local planning strategy generally as set out in Appendix 1 for the purposes of public advertising. And then the change is subject to a modification to Figure 20, North Dandalup Planning Investigation Planning Area L, to extend its northern boundary east of the Southwest Highway to incorporate land northwards to Hines Road and the North Dandalup Primary School site. So just read that out. I just read that out for clarity. Councillor Willis, have you got anything to add? No? Is there anyone likely to be against this item? No? Councillor, you've had enough to say?
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll put this to the vote then. All those in favour? It's passed unanimously. Thank you. Councillor Black has gone, yes. Okay. Now we're going to move on to item 11.3, Health Amendment Local Law, 2025 adoption. We have a officer's recommendation there. Councillor Rogers, just push your button, please.
I would like to move the amended officer's recommendation, if I may.
Yes, and that is then going to read, in accordance with section 3.12 brackets 4 of the Local Government Act 1995, makes the Shire of Murray Health Amendment Local Law 2025 as set out in Appendix 1. The change is, with the exception of Clause 4, Item 8 relating to Clause 5.18(1) of the existing local law, health local law, which states, delete 1 hectare or less without approval of the local government and insert 4 hectares or less without approval of the local government. So basically what we're saying is that that is to be removed, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Kirkham. Councillor Rogers, would you like to speak to the item, please?
Yes, I understand that the intent of point 2 of the original recommendation was to ensure a more effective tool for Shire officers to manage complaints. However, the report also states that the Shire currently only receive a very small number of complaints in relation to livestock issues, being dust or noise, odour and the like, and they seem to be more on the larger rural lots or special rural lots. I think it is great that the Shire officers are wanting to be proactive in this space and to try get ahead of any potential larger issues. However, at this stage, I don't think this change is necessary. Using Coolup as an example, we have 5-acre blocks, the 2 hectare blocks, and they are zoned rural. They're not special rural, they're not residential rural, they are rural zoned blocks. And these blocks are either neighboured directly by or within 1 street of large open working farmland. Rural zoned land also has guidelines for stocking rates, odour control and dust management. And I believe the historic land size of 1 hectare continues to remain appropriate, and potential issues arising from stocking rates, dust or odour can still be managed under the guidelines currently in place with the deferred stocking rate policy. The majority of landowners have historically done the right thing and will continue to do so without these changes, and the ones that haven't can and should be held accountable under the current guidelines available.
Thank you, Councillor Rogers. Councillor Kirkham, you'd like to speak?
I just agree with everything that Councillor Rogers has said. Yeah.
Thank you. Is there anyone likely to speak against this motion? Any other comments or questions? Councillor Willis?
Just like to thank the officers in their due diligence in putting this out for public consultation and listening and taking on board the feedback that was given in terms of the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There being no further comments, then we'll put this item to the vote. All those in favour? That's passed unanimously.
And a reason following strong advocacy from our community for the change. Yep.
Okay, now we come to item 11.4, proposed battery energy storage system, lot 9000-572 Patterson Road, Ravenswood, and Councillor Willis is leaving the room because of her proximity interest. Okay, councillors, we have an officer's recommendation there. Do I have a mover? Councillor Carter, thank you. And a seconder, Councillor Lee, thank you. Does anyone have any comments or questions? Councillor Carter, would you like to speak to the item?
Just to say that I can see the benefit of an energy storage system, and I'd like to assess the application properly. Should the Shire receive the acoustic and hazard assessments that we've requested, then that's something I'd like to investigate further.
Thank you. Councillor Lee?
No, thank you. I completely concur with Councillor Carter. If the recommendations are followed, then I think it's probably a good thing for for our community and the Shire. Obviously, it'll be rateable and we'll get some extra funds.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Lee. Is anyone likely to speak against the item? That being the case, no further comments or questions from anyone, we'll put the item to the vote. All those in favour? It's passed unanimously. The officer's recommendation was passed unanimously, Councillor Willis. 12, corporate governance. Item 12.1, monthly financial report, July 2025. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Rogers, and a seconder, Councillor Carter. Thank you. Any comments or questions? Okay, we'll put the item to the vote then. All those in favour? It's passed unanimously. Item 12.2, payments from municipal and trust funds, July 2025. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Kirkham and Councillor Pike to second. Are there any comments or questions? I have got one question, and I'm hoping that Mr. Smith might be able to answer this. I noted that there was a payment for some $11,500 to GDM contracting for some fencing on Southwest Highway. I was just wondering if you could tell me where that was or why we paid for it. Sorry for the lack of notice there, but
I'm unsure of the
my
works in progress.
My presumption was that it was to do with the footpath renewal at North Pinjarra, but so you'll get back to me on that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great.
Take it on notice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, no other further comments or questions, then we'll put that item to the vote. All those in favour? It's passed unanimously. Uh, 13, Recreation, Economic and Community Development. 13.1, sponsorship request, appeal producers long table dinner 2026-2027. We've had our deputation from Mr. Bullers tonight on this item. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Lee and Councillor Rogers to second. Is there likely to be anyone that would be against this item? Councillor Lee, would you like to speak to it?
Thank you. No, not a great deal to say. Thank you to Carl for giving his deputation. I think we all agree it's a great thing for Pinjarra and look forward to it happening again in 26 and 27.
Thank you. Councillor Rogers? No? If no one's going to be speaking against it, then we'll put this item to the vote. All those in favour? That's passed unanimously. Item 13.2, assignment of lease, Edenvale Heritage Tea Rooms. We have the officer's recommendation there, councillors. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Willis and Councillor Carter to second. Is anyone likely to speak against this? Any comments or questions? Councillor Willis, would you like to speak to the item?
Yes, thank you, thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to say that I really appreciated the opportunity the other day to speak to both Lynn and the proposed new leasees. and to hear about the menu and the exciting opportunities that they look to bringing to Edenvale. Edenvale Precinct and the tea rooms is very much loved by our town, and Lynn has worked really hard to build the tea rooms back after there had been a couple of leasees there that had walked away from the lease. So, you know, I'd like to express my thanks to her for that, and really look forward and hope that the new leasees do everything they say they're going to do, because if they do, it will be amazing.
Thank you. Councillor Carter, would you like to speak? Any other comments or questions, councillors? Okay, we'll put the item to the vote then. All those in favour? It's passed unanimously. Thank you very much, Lynn and Puri, for what you've done, and we look forward to the new proponents and what they may be able to achieve for us. Item 13.3, Pinjarra Golf Club. It'll stop moving in a minute. Priority project funding submission. We have the officer's recommendation there. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Carter and Councillor Pike. Councillor Carter, would you like to speak to the item? No? Councillor Pike, would you like to speak to the item?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to say that I look forward to seeing some improvements happen at the golf club, and I hope that the golf club people can see that it's a good faith step towards better things in the future.
Thank you, Councillor Pike. Any other comments or questions, councillors? Anyone likely to be against this item? No? Okay, we'll put the item to the vote then. All those in favour? That's passed unanimously. There we go. We got there. 14, infrastructure services. So 14.1 is reallocation of regional road group road fund. Reallocation of regional road grant budget 2025-2026, and we have the officer's recommendation there. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Rogers and Councillor Kirkham to second. Councillor Rogers, would you like to speak to the item? No. Councillor Kirkham. Any comments or questions from the councillors? It's pretty straightforward, I think. Okay, we'll put it to the vote then. All those in favour? That's passed unanimously. (15) Items for information. 15.1 Outstanding council resolutions August 2025 will be attached for information. 15.2 Delegated Development Application Decisions July 2025 will also be attached for information. 16 Business left over from a previous meeting is nil. 17 Elected members' motions of which previous notice has been given is nil. 18 Notice of motions for consideration at the following meeting. Anyone got anything? Nope. 19 New business of an urgent nature approved by the presiding person presiding or by decision of the meeting. I don't have anything. I don't think no one's approached me with anything, so that will be nil. And item 20 is confidential business for which we have none, which brings us to item 21, which is closure of the meeting. And so I declare the meeting closed at 6:33. Thank you very much, everyone, for your attendance. I hope you enjoyed the meeting, and we look forward to seeing you any time you wish to come. Thank you.